Hello and welcome to the latest episode of Oval and Out from day 2 at the Kia Oval, where Surrey have enjoyed a record-breaking day. They scored 820 for 9, declared their highest ever score, breaking a 126-year record. Dom Sibley scored a triple hundred. Dan Lawrence scored a career best score, and Will Jacks scored his 4th first-class 100 of his career. In response, Durham are 59 for 1 at the close, but Surrey created 3 wicket-taking opportunities and shelled 2 of them. Jeremy Coney, first of all, who is your player of the day? Probably a slightly easier question than it often is.
Well, it was a batsman's day, wasn't it? Almost 400 runs in 2 sessions. And we saw some ebullience and some buccaneering strokes from Lawrence. We saw a very efficient and proficient 100 from Will Jacks, but really for me it had to be Sibbers, who was able to get through to his 300, which was a fantastic effort. He kind of almost rebranded cricket, you know, like a sort of endurance sport really for a while, but he also, for 472 balls, had that little shimmy across the stumps to off stump, eye over the off stump, let her go Levy, just let her go by. And then he started, yesterday he scored all his runs basically behind the stumps. Today he just fooled them all by coming in front of the stumps and playing it more in the V. Some lovely, it's a lovely innings really. And so he was really at the heart and soul of that 820 that you just described. So that's really my player of the day.
There's been a lot of talk about the Kookaburra ball, and if you want to hear our opinions on it, there's 6 hours of YouTube coverage you can go back and find. But a lot of teams have scored a lot of runs against the Kookaburra in this round, but no team has done so at anywhere near the speed at which Surrey did so today. And we talked about Sibley, but the stroke making from Dan Lawrence this morning and then Will Jacks in the afternoon session was quite something to witness.
That would be if there was a moment of joy of just pure batsmanship and also delicious kind of improvisation as well, it would come from Dan Lawrence. He was striking the ball across a morning very nicely indeed, but he got a ball from Hogg, I think it was, and it was just slightly short, and it was the one that Sibbers would certainly have let go. But Dan Lawrence, being a Lawrence, decided that he was going to go on the back foot, and he crashed it. And mid-on had no chance, and it was actually square of mid-on, and it just went straight to the pickets, and it was a magnificent, it wasn't a pull shot, it was a genuine flick and a backward, attacking stroke. And it was just a perfect riposte for someone who was bowling out there. Where do I bowl now?
Well, wherever the ball is delivered to Dan Lawrence, mid-wicket is always in the action. How do you think the game is set up? As I said up top, Surrey created 3 wicket-taking opportunities, which I think if you gave them that at the start, when they went out to field with 29 overs remaining, they would have taken.
Absolutely.
They only took one of them.
They did only take one. That was bold. Yeah. Well, they had to take it, really. But the 2 chances were eminently catchable, I would have to say. And so, for guys who have been really resting up for 2 days, I wouldn't be that happy about that, to be honest. And they need to be reminded. If they need to be reminded, just have a look at the Indian Test up at Headingley and see how important catches are. So they can't really. It's going to be difficult to take 20 wickets in 6 sessions. We haven't had many go so far, have we? So they're going to need 3 and a bit for the remaining time in the game. You cannot afford to drop catches. So they'll be pleased that they created the chances and they were opportunities, but they won't be that happy with the results.
Yeah, so we need 19 wickets from the last 2 days. We've seen 10 wickets fall so far, and actually in truth most of them have been when batters have tried to clear the boundary, which is not something we'd expect to see too much from the Durham batters on days 3 and 4. That is everything from myself and Jeremy. If you're near the ground tomorrow, come in. We are within 2,000 of another record, another 21st century record here at the Kia Oval, and the game is brilliantly poised. The weather forecast is brilliant again, so if you're close, come on in, and it's free after tea for all those who've got to be in the office.
Yaz loves a record.